Hi everyone, it's Amanda Ellis of amandaellis.co.uk, Facebook page Angelic Celestial Colours and YouTube channel Amanda Ellis. Welcome back, March the 23rd, 2018, and this is video 4 in a series of videos that I'm making on world leaders, past and present, trying to understand at soul level, at higher self level, what makes these people tick, what their energy feels like, and any guidance that comes through with regard to what seems to be coming through in the last 3 videos, a storm warning for the world. So we've already seen that quite a lot of these leaders are linked to something that appears to happen that brings people, the need for people to come back together. So that's what we're going to continue with. This video I'm entitling Here Come the Girls, okay, because we're going to look at women in power. Not all of them, of course, but we're going to take a selection. And the ones that I'm guided to do is, we definitely have permission to go back in and look at Theresa May of the UK. We're going to start with her, and it's actually quite interesting why she's now happy to talk, or her higher self wants to come through, and I'm allowed via Archangel Metatron, who's my main guide, to just channel something through on Theresa. I'll come to that in a moment. And then we're going to look at, not necessarily in this order, we're going to look at the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Arden, and we are going to look at Michelle Obama. And to make it fair, we're also going to have a look at Melania Trump. Okay, so that's who I've got on my table. I have to say though, I've also got sitting here, I'm not going to have time to do him in this video, but I've also got the French Prime Minister, Emmanuel Macron. And interesting, I don't know why, but I just printed this photograph of him, of course, with his wife. And it just strikes me that a lot of these leaders in power have got these very strong women behind them. So we sort of ask, you know, where is the divine feminine? Where, you know, where is she? And we may not actually see it yet in positions of power in the world, but it's like they're lurking behind the scenes. So that's interesting in itself. What do I want to say before we begin this video? I have been doing a lot of reflecting on the 3 videos that we've done so far. Thank you so much for all your support, is the first thing to say. I want these videos more to just be about getting the information out, and then we tend to discuss, you know, ramifications of them, particularly on my Facebook page, Angelic Celestial Colours, where there's a good community there. We all talk with respect and love on there, so there isn't anything else allowed really. We're allowed to disagree, but we have to do so politely. I know that I've lost some viewers because I've been doing this series of videos, but I also know that I've gained far more. So we were talking yesterday on the FB page about authenticity and being our authentic selves, and it really does feel, I think I said at the beginning of this week, it was going to be a big week, and I think more than anything, it is a week where there's a gateway opened for us to really step into our authentic selves. And sometimes what we're going to bring through, whether you do the type of work I do or whatever you do, isn't going to please everybody. But that's okay. We just have to follow our own truth. We have to listen to our own guides, and we have to carry on. There seems to have been like an upsurge of this spiritual warrior spirit this week, which is really nice to see. I've felt it within myself, and I've seen it within others as well, who are just finally, you know, really getting on and doing it, getting onto their life path, and answering their soul calling. And I will just say a little bit about soul calling, because what we're trying to do with these series of videos is to obviously understand maybe divine mission of some of these people, but also look for the reflections within ourselves. And I've said this so many times this week, when we get triggered, rather than just doing the usual mudslinging and point scoring and you're wrong, I'm right, which is all ego, it's much more about just taking the response that we feel within ourselves, whether that's anger, indignation, sorrow, frustration, whatever it is, and really trying to own it and heal it. And it's been interesting because, yeah, I've had a few letters in. Well, not letters don't really exist anymore, do they? It's more emails in, and messages on Facebook. Some of them are being quite personal attacks. And the thing about it is there's a real lesson here for all of us, because if you're that triggered by something, that you've taken the time to write, loads and loads of words, and that's fine, because maybe you need to get it out of you. But the best thing you can actually do with it is, rather than send it to somebody like me, or send it to your father, or send it to, your husband, whoever it is that you're feeling triggered by, take it away from this situation now, is to give it to the elements, give it to fire, give it to water, give it to the air, because then you transmute it, because you transmute it within yourself. Because the thing is, if you write to me or you attack me, it's not going anywhere. I'm not reading it anyway. And that's not ego. It's just the fact that I have so many emails every day that come in, and I'm not able to respond to everyone that's asking for my help, or that are saying nice things even. So, but I try to, I try to respond to everybody, but I'm not going to give attention to people that are bringing negativity in. That's your stuff, and you need to own it. Okay. The other thing about soul mission is to give an analogy, because some of what's coming through in this series of videos, it's very clear that some of them haven't lived up to what they were meant to do or came in to do. Maybe their time is still to come, I don't know. But let's just take it to a personal level now, in terms of us, you and me, watching this. We all have a soul mission, we all have a calling, we all have something we're meant to be doing in this lifetime, and we can all self-sabotage that. And it can be the little things like drinking too much wine. It can be the big things. Can't even think what big things might be. But anyway, we can all self-sabotage ourselves. We can block ourselves from really stepping into our true magnificence. The divinity that is within ourselves to do what we're called to do. And leaders are no different from that. They can sabotage themselves. But it's as though when they sabotage themselves, or they make a wrong decision, because we make wrong decisions all the time in our life, the consequences are so much greater. And it's very obviously, it's public, everybody sees it. So some of these people that we've been looking at have just made mistakes. They've taken a wrong path, they have, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't have something within them that was calling them to a higher purpose. Okay, the numerology is quite interesting as well. I'm not going to get into that because I haven't got time, but I've taught a little bit of numerology in the past, and I do know there's a real trend with a lot of leaders that they have what we call a 2911 energy. I know Barack Obama is one that has it. I'm pretty sure Prince William does. It's either Prince William or Prince Charles. Al Gore had it. I'm going back a bit because I used to teach numerology quite a while ago, so some of these people are not necessarily on the scene anymore. Tony Blair had it, for example. And the thing is that these people come in with an awful lot of potential, and they don't always succeed. They don't always, they're not always able to complete the mission for all sorts of reasons, because of all sorts of bad judgments, errors, human nature that gets in the way. But it doesn't mean that they don't have that seed of greatness within them, the potential. And that's also what we all have as well, okay? So I'm going to dive straight into this, and I'm going to go straight into the British Prime Minister, Theresa May. Now, those of you that don't know much about British politics, I'm not going to bore you all to death. But the thing that you need to know about Theresa May, because it feels as though it's important for this video, I'm just going to let some light in, is that we obviously had Brexit in this country, the Brexit vote a couple of years ago now, and we voted to leave the EU, leave Europe, which was sort of unexpected. I think even the people that voted leave were a little bit unexpected that actually that vote had held sway. And what happened was, straight after that vote came in, our Prime Minister, David Cameron, resigned. And all of what you would have thought would be the leading contenders for the job sort of stepped aside and didn't want it. And I remember my father saying to me at the time, he said, it's like all the men in particular abandoned ship. And that's not being political, it's the truth. The likes of Boris Johnson and Michael Gove and other UK politicians that maybe David Davis, you would have thought might have stood up to the challenge of leading the Conservatives, who are in power now, through the very troubled seas of transitioning to a state outside of the EU. Nobody wanted the job. And, you know, whether you like her or you don't like her, and lots of people don't like her, I'm going to remain neutral in all this. But she, as a woman, was the one that stepped in and actually stepped up to the plate. So that's important because it says something about her psyche as well. Before that, she was the Home Secretary, so she was in charge of the security of the nation, basically, linking into, you know, terrorism and all the other threats that come into any country. So when I couldn't tune into her in video 1, I'm just going to start shuffling the cards because I want to shuffle some cards for her. We got the blinds drawn down, basically. I wasn't able to go into it. I didn't feel that I had her higher self's permission. And now I do. So it's like, well, what's changed? Well, what's changed is the fact, okay, Metatron's nudged her a little bit, but it's more than that. It actually says something about her character, because her character is very much that she likes to do things by the book. She likes to know where she is. She doesn't like surprises. And that's why it's such a big surprise in a way that she's leading a country like us through something like Brexit, which is full of surprises. But her character generally is very steady, and yeah, she just likes to know where she is. She's the sort of person that if she was going to a meeting, everything would have been prepared to the last dot. You know, the night before, she would have probably. I'm being shown she I don't know whether she does do this, but she's always immaculately dressed. It's almost as though she lays her clothes out before she goes to bed. You know, she's decided what she is going to wear before she gets up in the morning. It's very, very controlled and very, very well prepared. And so I think what happened with the first video was it's like we knocked on the door of like her higher self. And even though her higher self is obviously an aspect of her that does understand what we're trying to do, her lower self, human self, went into like, oh no, I'm not ready yet, you know, come back later. It's like, come back later when I've prepared. So there is this thing about her where she will put, you know, she'll put on the professional face. Of course, all politicians have to do that, but she's really the epitome of that. We picked up in the first video with her quite a Victorian energy. And that still feels very true. She is coming across today in terms of her energy, and remember please, this is her higher self, this is the woman, not necessarily the politician. She is a politician, but I'm linking into the woman in softer than she did 2 days ago when I was trying to link into her. If you look at the picture that I've got of her here, she's coming across more. She's coming across more in like a sort of grandmotherly role, but I need to pull some cards for her at this point. She's very shrewd. The word I'm hearing is very shrewd. And if she were a chess player, I'm being told, she would be a very good chess player, because what she's able to do is think through a few steps before she actually needs to play her piece. It's not really, you can't really see that very well. A lot of people accuse her of it being very shambolic, what she's doing at the moment. But to be fair to the woman, it's a very shambolic time in UK history, because she's entering into an uncharted territory that no one's ever gone into before. No other country's tried to get out of the EU, has tried to extricate itself from it. It's an extremely complicated process. Can it even be done? Who knows? I don't know. So she's trying to play a good game is what I'm hearing. She's trying to use her, what Metatron is calling her chess head. But unfortunately, when you do that, you're very much engaged in your mental analytical mind, intelligence, shrewdness. She's not very good at picking up the subtleties. She's not very good at picking up on things like body language or energy generally, okay? So she's sort of lacking a very important piece of skill and ability which she needs really at this time. So let's pull some cards for her and let's see what we get. And I'll do it on camera so you can see what we're getting. And I think I'll ask for 5, okay? So 5 for Theresa May. Quite a private lady is what I'm hearing as well. Quite private. Has very much been thrust into a role which is more prominent than probably she ever thought she'd get. She's always been successful, but it's more been sort of as one of the cabinet rather than, just putting these down as they fall out, the lead person, as it were. She's trying to settle into the role. I'm being shown a comfy pair of slippers for some reason. Why am I being shown that? It's like she's trying to break in this, well, she's known for her shoes. I said that in the first video. She's known for these very glamorous shoes that she wears. And she's trying to sort of like break in this pair of shoes which aren't very comfortable, and that's sort of the role that she's in basically. Right, so far the cards that we've got, the first card that fell out was the throat chakra. Is that right, the 5th chakra? Just count my way up. Yeah, the 5th chakra, the throat chakra. So she is feeling as though, and I'm feeling it straight away on my throat, it's as though she's feeling gagged. It's like she can't really say what she wants to say, which is true. You know, she can't really, yeah, she can't really say what she wants to say. Might come back to that. We've got the card of envy. That's come up for quite a few of them. Envy. That is also due to, I'm not trying to get too political here, but it's just what's coming through. This escape that is trying to, that's what it feels like. I have to say at this point, I didn't actually vote that way to escape. So I'm being neutral here, but that's what it feels like. To escape the EU is provoking envy in other nations who also want to do the same, is what I'm feeling here. But for whatever reason haven't. Let's have 3 more cards. There's almost like an energy within the within Europe, and like, who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are? But actually secretly, I'd quite like to be doing what you're doing. That's the sort of energy around it. So definitely hostilities around her. 3 more cards, Metatron. He's saying stop there. The first card is the base chakra. So she's got a few chakras out here. The next card is the card of the man holding a coin. The man holding a coin, straight away I'm hearing, is, I don't even know who holds the European purse strings, but it would be whoever that is. Okay, the man holding the coin is, she's struggling with. And the next card is the card of the thinking man. This is what she is. She's like the thinking man. Even though she's a woman, she has got such a sharp intellect. Again, when we were looking at Hillary Clinton, for example, she's like, she's had to become, it's like she's a woman, but she's had to display so many male traits to get to where she is. And it's the same for this woman, Theresa May. There's a very patriarchal energy within her. I'm sure there is a softness there, but it's a very male energy that she holds. Again, more comfortable around men than women. Seems to, it's not necessarily that she trusts men more than women, it's more that she just feels more comfortable around male company. I'm seeing her, I don't know where she went to school or college or university, but it feels like she went somewhere where, I don't know whether she went to Oxford or Cambridge, but wouldn't surprise me if it was something like that, because it feels like a bastion of male culture. If it's not schooling, it's obviously the House of Commons, which is very, even though it's changed and there are more women now. Of course, don't forget, this woman's been around for quite a few years, quite a few decades. And even though now House of Parliament might be more multi-sex and trying to dig itself out of the dinosaur age, in terms of misogyny and things like that, she's been around that energy for decades. So she's had to play the male game. But again, this is just confirming that she is shrewd. She's a shrewd cookie. What's on the bottom of the pack? Bottom of the pack is rest and rejuvenation, which is interesting because we got that card for Obama when he'd been forced out of office. Does she get forced out of office? Does she get forced out of office? Does she get forced out of office? She will hang on to the last breath of her body is what I'm hearing. I'm seeing somebody who's like, I mean, I'm a Cancerian. I don't think she's a Cancerian, but Cancerians are, you know, we're crabs and we've got the claws that can dig in to the last moment. We're really hopeless at letting go. I don't think she's Cancerian, but she's got that quality of like, I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on. What's behind that? A sense of duty is behind that. She genuinely thinks that she's the best person to negotiate and get us out of this situation. But if she's going to do that, she's going to have to open up a little bit more, because we've got 3 chakras here out of balance. She's got the same chakras out of balance. In fact, worse than that actually, that Trump had. Trump had the base chakra and the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, out of balance. And I was talking about the fact that it can be a very toxic brew, because it's like they're both blocked, so it's like energy can't get in from above to help them, to inspire them, and it can't leave the body either in terms of redundant ideas. She's got the same. She's got blocked energy head to base, but also she's blocked at the throat. So I suspect that card of rest and rejuvenation is the fact she's completely and utterly I was going to say something rude there. She's tired. She's really, really tired. And what effect will that be having upon her judgment? What effect will that be having upon her judgment? She's okay. She can still do it. Card of attachment. Yeah, she's very attached to what she's trying to do. Sense of duty, sense of obligation. It certainly wouldn't be her decision to ever step down. I'm not sensing that straight away anyway. I feel like she's I'm being shown a strange analogy. It's a bit like something, you know, when you tread on I don't know, something sticky like glue or honey, and it sticks to your foot. It's like, you know, she doesn't want to, she wants to stay, and she's probably a problem for those within Europe as well, because she just feels like she's not going to go anywhere. Let's use a spray. Let's use Archangel Uriel. What else can you tell us about Theresa May? Okay, she's going to be a figurehead for when she needs to stay for a bit longer. I don't like to say too much here. I'm just going to say there are some people to pass in the UK. You can probably guess who they are. And there will be some sadness. There's going to be quite a lot of sadness. And when that happens, whether you like her or not, she's sort of there as somebody to balance the ship. She's very good at balancing the ship. I know she's a very divisive figure. But she is able just to, I'm being shown, she's on this ship, she's driving it forward, she's got her hands tight on the steering wheel, she knows where she's going, and it's like she will keep that boat running, whatever else is going on around her in terms of the country. So it feels as though there are things to play out within the UK in terms of loss and grief, and she's just there as anchor point. Whether you like her or not, you still need an anchor point. Okay. I haven't got Boris Johnson's photograph in front of me, but I am just going to quickly just pull a card for Boris Johnson, because I imagine he's the thorn in her side. He's this maverick. Foreign Secretary that we've got at the moment. Those of you in different countries may well know who he is. He's got this shock of blonde hair. He's a very bombastic figure. You know when Boris has walked into the room, let's put it that way. And he's a bit of a loose cannon, so he's been saying some very strange things this past week and really sort of riling Putin up in particular. And I imagine that not with her approval at all. So let's just pull a card in terms of him. How does she view him? How does she view him? How does she view Boris? Financial constraints. Card which is about financial constraints. That's about poverty. Okay, she doesn't have any other choice. It's like there's not a lot of rich pickings around her in terms of people of calibre that she can choose to hold such a prominent position. So it's like she's stuck with him. It's like the cupboard's bare in terms of other choices, is what I'm hearing. If the cupboard was full of other people with more potential, he probably would be out quicker than you can say whatever. Okay, but the cupboard is bare. So she's having to use that resource that is there. One more card for Boris. One more card for Boris. Daughter, personal healing and happiness. For him, it's all a bit about himself. Oh, that's interesting. On the bottom of the pack, we've got the storm warning card now coming out with him. So I was asking in relation to Boris, wasn't I? He is this loose cannon, okay? This week he's been talking about, well, quite insulting words he's been using about, I can't remember the ins and outs of it. It's all to do with the World Cup that's coming up in Russia. And I think he was comparing the way Putin's handling the World Cup to the way that Hitler used the Olympics in whatever year it was, 1940, whatever, to sort of showcase his, athletes to the world. Very offensive language. And I'm sure most people in the UK are offended by that as well. But he's really offended. He's offended the Russians. So, and I'm sure he hasn't done it with her approval. So why has he done it? Because for him, I don't know, he is just this loose cannon. For him, it's just about, I'll say whatever makes me happy and what I feel is right. And it's all about me, that daughter, personal healing and happiness. It's just like, I don't know, it just feels like I do what I want to do, he doesn't seem to be that bothered by it. He's an interesting character because he's quite intelligent as well, but it's all about his own happiness. He just says what he wants to say, what he thinks is true. It's quite egotistical, but underneath it was the storm warning card again. So I feel that he's doing damage here. He's not helping the situation of what's coming in for the world, whether that's linked to Russia or not, I don't know. Might have to do a separate video on the whole storm warning thing. Okay, let's move on then to another world leader now. Let's just say thank you to Theresa for showing up. And she's like, she's a stickler for time and doing things the right way. It's like she's sort of saying thank you very much. It's like she's viewed it a bit like an interview. That's the way her soul's coming across. It's like, thank you for the interview. It ran to the time that you said it was going to run to. I now need to get on and do what my next appointment of the day is. She's very much like that. You can mock it and you can not like what she's doing in the appointments, but at the end of the day, there's an earthiness to her. There is a groundedness to her. She's very grounded. You might not like what she does, what she brings to earth, but she is grounded. She's not flighty. She is what she is. So, okay, thank you, Theresa. Let's put her to one side. Let's put her down there. Let's just spray the white to clear the energy and to allow the next person to come in. Who should we go for? I'm going to go next to the New Zealand Prime Minister, Jacinda Arden. Now, I have to say I know absolutely nothing about this lady. I don't even know what political party she belongs to, and I've deliberately not read up on her because I wanted to come in totally neutral. That is what she looks like. So she's very beautiful. Yeah, so she's very beautiful. And again, that just straight away I want to say something about beauty, because of course what we're really trying to do here is it's not really about what the person looks like. I know I've mentioned sometimes, you know, their mouth is downward or whatever. I was like trying to practice and hone my skills last night actually, and I was looking at a photograph of David Icke, and he's got a really interesting face, because he's got these lines on his face which I've never seen on anybody else. You know, as you get older, you get this line here. I've got it as well. But he's got like 2 lines, and then he's got a furrow there, and then he's got like, it's very strange formation that he's got on his forehead. I might have to look at him. But anyway, the point is with her, she's classically beautiful. Straight away, what I'm wanting to say about her is that she feels that she's also beautiful inside. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. It's like her beauty matches what is within her. It is interesting because I'd never heard of her before this week, and now obviously a lot of you have asked me to do her, which is why I'm doing her, because she does break the mould, is what I'm hearing. She breaks the mould very clearly, not just in terms of what she looks like, but probably what she's trying to do. And this is the week, isn't it, that Obama is in New Zealand, and yesterday I believe he met her. I saw a picture of them meeting. So yeah. Okay, let's see what we get for her. Just shuffling the cards. Let's just see what comes through. Is she a mother? I think she is a mother, or she's pregnant. I think I heard that, but I'm also feeling that. There's like a maternal quality about her. She represents, you know, a good portion of the world's population, which are female, who are also mothers, who are also trying to hold down jobs, who are also trying to do a soul, answer a soul calling and a soul mission. So the fact that she can do that is showing that she's multi-faceted. She can juggle a lot of balls in the air, and she's very capable is the word I'm hearing. Very capable. That's an interesting word. Her energy comes across as being very clear and very pure. Okay, I would imagine, I don't know whether she does do this, but I've shown her doing yoga or something like that. You know, she's the type of person that would probably do that. She probably hasn't got time to do that right now, but that's sort of the energy that she has. I'm hearing flexible as well. I guess that comes from doing yoga or being interested in yoga or some sort of meditation technique. But she's flexible. She's able to see both sides of the coin. She's able to hear both sides of the debate. And Metatron is saying that's a very rare quality in politics. It's something that not a lot can do. I'm drawn to her hair. And I know that sounds a strange thing to say, but I've been reading a lot recently about hair being linked to, it's like that Samson thing, you know, it's like when they cut all his hair off, suddenly his energy got depleted. And there is something about hair coming through this at the moment. I'm trying to grow my hair, and it's like, why am I trying to do that? But it I don't know, there's something energetically going on with hair at the moment. Now I know if you've lost your hair, there's not much you can do about that, but for those of us that still have hair, I'm just picking up her hair it's not just decorative, it's about strength. What else with her? She's able to get her point across. And she's able to use her charm. I'm hearing her charm rather than using her looks. But she's able to use her charm to get the results that she is striving to achieve politically. Okay, so she's got a lot of charm. She's got a lot of grace. Let's see. Let's pull a few cards for her. Jacinda Arden. She's obviously quite young to have come into the role. And it feels like she's going to be around for quite some time, because I'm seeing her, doesn't mean she's necessarily going to be Prime Minister for a long, long time, but she's around the scene for a long time. Because I'm seeing a photograph of her, and it's of a much older woman. And it's almost like we're looking back on this and saying, oh yes, and she used to look like this. And she's still attractive when she's older, but it's like, it's weird. It's like I'm looking at a picture of somebody which belongs to, I don't know, a couple of decades ago. This is a very strange thing to say. Well, it's not strange for a lot of you that are watching me, but it's almost like she's coming from the future. That's what I'm feeling. It feels like she's coming from the future. Because she looks different from most other leaders on the world stage, let's face it. But it's not just what she looks like, it's who she is inside. It's like she's come back from the future. There's a timeline thing with her, which will make sense to some of you. Obviously, we're in 2018. She does look like that, I get that. But there's something going on with timelines. Almost as though she's been able to take a peek into the future at soul level, or she's travelled there at some point. She probably isn't aware of any of that at all. She would probably think I was talking complete gobbledygook. But that's what I'm picking up. It's like she's visited, I'm hearing 20 years hence. And it's like she's come, her consciousness now is seeded back here in 2018 with an awareness of what is coming in. What's coming in, before I pull any cards, bottom of the pack is the card of plenty, cornucopia. And that's the card of abundance, abundance for all. I've got the sun as well, okay? So that's what she believes in. Card number 11, Metatron's energy as well. She believes in abundance. She's I feel she's a good person. There's a lot of sunlight around her. We've got the card of the sun. And she genuinely believes. I think she's quite a powerful manifester. Wouldn't be surprised if she actually believes what we believe, a lot of the stuff that we believe in terms of manifestation, abundance, bringing that in. She's a very positive person, is what I'm hearing. She's not a glass half empty. She's a glass half full, and she would still be a glass half full even in the darkest times, is what I'm hearing. Okay, let's have 5 cards for her. Card number 1, she's got the 3rd chakra, the solar plexus. Interesting, because that card came up for Barack Obama, who she's meeting this week. And he got it because I was sensing that he was very depleted in terms of his energy there. It had been eaten away. And of course, the solar plexus is our power center. It's linked into the sun, okay? It's interesting that he's, it's appearing that he's there in New Zealand for rest and rejuvenation. They've made a big thing about the fact that he's not there to do any work. He's just there to play golf, and he's obviously met her. But it's like, it's interesting, isn't it? I'm picking up here that she's actually within her power at the moment. Okay, she's got the sun shining on her. Her solar plexus isn't depleted, it's actually full. And it's almost like there's an energy exchange going on between the two of them. But she's able to do it because she's very, very tuned in to spirit, to the collective consciousness. So it's like he's landed in the right place. The rest and rejuvenation that he needed, he's going to find it very, very, very healing being in New Zealand at this time. And her energy is very healing. It's almost like her energy, I don't know, somehow reignites the spark in him again. It's like he sees himself in her 20 years ago. Again, the idealism, but she's more grounded, I think, than Obama in some ways. Going back 20 years, I'm talking. She really does. She's got a really good sense of where she's going. So it's good that it just feels quite nice that they were both there together this week. Right, what else? Jacinda Arden. Oops, Jacinda Arden. Jacinda Arden. Stop there, Metatron's saying. Look at that. That's the card of rest and rejuvenation. That's exactly what I was just saying. There's a link between these two. I wonder what he has been doing there. And yes, I've read some of the things about what, might be going on. The Alex Jones stuff. I don't actually agree with all of that, I have to say. In terms of elite bunkers and things like that. Well, they probably do exist, but I don't believe that's the purpose of the visit. This is about rest and rejuvenation. Is she pregnant and going to also need rest and rejuvenation? the card of community. Yeah, that's absolutely who she is. She's not in it for ego. She's not in it for personal gain. She's in it for the community. She believes in community. She actually believes in unity consciousness. Thank God somebody does on the world stage, is what I want to say to that. This is somebody who isn't just about me, me, me. It's about what's in it for the community. What can the community do together? Wow, it's so refreshing. She's like a breath of fresh air. Broken heart. Okay, I'm going to ask for clarification in terms of broken heart. That's personal to her. Why have we got the card of the broken heart? Oh, she helps. Okay, it might not be personal to her. I will pull a card, but I'm just actually hearing she helps heal broken hearts. Not in some romantic, soppy, lovey-dovey way. The world has got a broken heart. The system is broken. Okay, the system is broken. There is no heart-centered politics. Well, no, that's a big statement to make. I'm going to backtrack on that. There hasn't been a lot of evidence of heart-based politics, okay? The history of our world up to this point has very much been about what's in it for me. And she's not playing that game. She's playing the game of community, and she's playing the game of plenty for all. She also believes in a balanced work-life, play, what's the expression? This thing about rest and rejuvenation. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, you know? It's like she understands the importance of working hard, but also resting as well. I think that broken heart is actually more in terms of it's a collective thing. She's here to, she's a healer. She's a politician, but she's a healer. That's an unusual combination. Let's just pull one more card that goes with that broken heart. Broken heart. Jacinda Arden, broken heart. Why have we got that card? Metatron, Jacinda. Oh, so it's just fallen out on the floor. Two just fell out. The sixth chakra and appreciation, third eye and a sense of appreciation. She is very tired of the old paradigm of not being, of people taking what they can for themselves, not being grateful for all of the abundance that is available to everybody, really. And she's also very tired. It's not like she's totally broken-hearted, but, you know, she's sad, which is what's motivated her to get into the politics and into a position of power to change things, in terms of the fact that people have no forward vision. They have very few people have forward vision. People are very, we're all a bit guilty of this. It's like the present day is the only thing that matters. And this is about, the card of the sixth chakra is about what about the future generations? Have some forward thinking. What about, how are you going to leave the planet you know, when you die? Is it going to be in a better place, or is it going to be in a worse place? Is she quite environmental as well? I'm picking up environmentalism with her, and also with Obama. There is definitely a link here with those two. They get on together. They get each other, is what I'm hearing. Okay, let's just have a couple of cards for her going forward. I'm going to go to a different pack. She hasn't got the storm warning card. Going forward, Jacinda Arden. Going forward, Jacinda Arden. She's smart. She's got emotional intelligence, and she's got whatever, IQ. She's got both. Jacinda Arden, two. Okay, those two have come out. Oh, that's lovely. The card of happy, happy, which has come out a few times for other leaders, but I haven't necessarily interpreted it as a happy, happy card. Sometimes it's been a false, it's like a false smile. It's not with this lady. In fact, one of the things I noted when I was trying to find a picture of her was they were all of her with this beautiful beaming smile. I mean, look at her smile. It's genuine. They say you can tell when somebody's got a genuine smile because it reaches their eyes. It reaches her eyes. Look at that. Okay. But the thing is, the happiness, the positive, I want to call it positivity, she understands that to do that, you have to co-create in community. You can't do it on your own. And she also understands that happiness doesn't come from, happiness can't be achieved at the expense of other people. So you can't be happy, you can't be abundant if you're sitting on top of a pile of glittering gold, that came out with the Chinese Prime Minister, at the expense of other people. It has to be abundance that comes from a place of community and is shared equally by all. So I mean, she must have centre-left leanings, I would imagine, or liberal leanings, because that's how her energy is coming across to me. Can you trust her? Yes. Would I like to be in a room with her? Yes. And actually she's saying, what's coming through is, obviously I know she's a politician and she's serious and she has to deal with serious subjects, but it's almost like if I was having a cup of tea with her or a drink with her, we would actually be discussing clothes and makeup, because there's quite a girly side to her as well. There's a very normal side to her. And even though I get into all the life and death stuff with the sort of work that I do, and she's getting involved with goodness knows what in terms of politics, it's like underneath it all, we could have a really good chat about just, you know, makeup and clothes. And it wouldn't be shallow, it would just be a lovely bit of light relief. And it would just reflect another part of her personality and mine as well. I'd have a giggle with her. She's also got a sense of humour. So yes, I like her energy a lot. Where does she come from? Where does she come from? I don't even know what this means, but she seems to be very much linked into the energy of the sun. Where's the card of the sun gone? We had it out earlier. I don't know where it's gone. Was it on the bottom of the pack? No. Anyway, I'm just picking up an energy which is very linked to the sun, solar rays. I don't even know what that means, but that's what I'm picking up for her. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on, and we're going to look at Michelle Obama, and we're going to look at Melania. I'm just going to clear my space before I do that. Okay, back again. So we've got Michelle Obama and we have got Melania Trump. Okay, let's look at Michelle first. This is the picture that Metatron asked me to print out. I was looking for a photograph of her, and a lot of the photographs of her, probably because they're official portraits, are quite airbrushed. And I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but I wanted one that was, I was trying to get to like the real her. And this picture, even though it looks a bit quirky, he said, no, use that because there is a quirkiness to her character. And I've also got this picture here of Obama and Michelle, because again, when you Google her, there's a lot of images of them and some very lovely images of their relationship, which does appear to be genuine. So, well, it is genuine, of course it is. It's very obviously genuine. There's a lot of love, there's a lot of passion still there, there's a lot of interest in each other. They're intellectually, they're really tuned into each other. And it's like it's very hard to actually divorce the two of them because they go together. The mission is entwined, is what I'm hearing, okay? But anyway, let's just look at her on her own and give her her own space, which is what she deserves. The first thing that I'm feeling with her is, I've talked a bit about Theresa May and Hillary as well, in terms of have had to operate in this male world. And actually I have a lot of compassion for Hillary in particular, because I feel that, you know, without getting into the ins and outs of what might have happened to her, she's clearly paid quite a high price personally as well for having played the male game, you know, and you know, the femininity is being squashed out of her. It's like, you know, if you have to play in a man's world and play by male rules and only be accepted into the club if you do that, then it does something to your psyche. And I did say on my Facebook page the other day, something that came through from Metatron as well, is that we have a collective responsibility as well, that we haven't swept away this old male paradigm, this male consciousness, this patriarchal energy that's existed on our planet for so many years. You know, we have a collective responsibility there and an individual responsibility. And it's so easy to point the finger at somebody like that and say, oh, well, you know, they played the male thing, you know, but we haven't swept it away. So it's for us to do that, okay? And then women won't have to behave like that. They won't have to behave like men to be accepted into the club. This woman, Michelle Obama, she in no way would she play by those rules. And in fact, you know, what's coming through looking at her photograph here is it's like she's seen through the men. That's what I'm feeling. It's like she's seen through the men. I mean, her eyes are so powerful. She knows exactly what's going on. In terms of, you know, her and Obama, he wouldn't be able to get away with a thing with her, you know. She would just rip him to shreds if ever he stepped out of line, because she's got a very high integrity and morals. And it's like, you know, you ship up or shape out is what I'm hearing. Shape up or ship out. I always say it the wrong way around. Shape up or ship out. That's her whole attitude, you know. And she expects an awful lot from herself. Very driven, but she expects a lot from herself. And so because she expects a lot from herself, she expects a lot from other people as well. Having said that, she has got genuine... a genuine desire to help those who are less advantaged than her. She's quite, there's quite a Metatronic energy with her. She's sort of, it's like tough love, you know? It's like she sees the highest potential in somebody. That's what she's all about. She's about seeing the highest potential in somebody. And she will always hold that vision for herself and for other people as well. And she expects those around her to be like that as well. What else is coming through on her? Again, she's a very domineering presence. Going into a room with her, how would I feel? I would feel a bit like I had to be on my best behaviour. But that's my stuff. It's more that I feel that she's such a strong woman that it would be quite easy to go a bit into sort of like, oh, you know, it's like I better put on my smart outfit, or I better be up to my game today. You know, it's sort of like I can't go in there in a sort of half-cocked fashion, you know, just having got out of bed with unkempt hair and no makeup. It's not about the makeup, of course. It's just she has that energy about her where you want to do well. You know, you want to appear your best. And then probably as soon as you met her, she'd be like, oh, I don't care. You could have come in your dressing gown. It wouldn't have bothered me. But she has that image and she has that energy around her, which make people feel that they have to step up to the mark a bit. Underneath it all, I'm hearing she's a pussycat, is what I'm hearing. What else? Michelle Obama. She's so interesting because we've all, you know, she's been on the world stage for I don't know how many years now. Very obviously one of the most high profile roles in the world. Everyone feels that they probably know her, but it's like I'm looking at her and it's like I don't really know her. That's the image, that's the energy that's coming from her. It's like you think you know her, but you don't really know her. But that's not a bad thing. It's not the fact that she's hiding anything or she's manipulating anything. It's just that there's a lot to her character. There's a lot to her character. There's a lot to her. She could probably turn her hand to anything she wanted to. You know, if she wanted to write a cookery book, it would probably be a top-selling cookery book. If she wanted to do anything, she would just throw her heart and soul into it and do very well at it. Grade A student is what I'm hearing. Grade A student. And she'll never lose that ability to be a grade A student. She sees herself as a student of life. You know, she's not somebody who thinks they know it all. She knows she doesn't know it all. She knows that she knows more than most people, but there's not an arrogance with it. But that's what I'm trying to convey. There's an energy coming across which is like, ooh, you know, brings up people's insecurities. She can bring up people's insecurities because it's like she's very capable, very strong, very driven. Look what she's achieved, look what she managed. You know, people are touting her as a former next president. You know, you're not an idiot if you're being touted as that. And it's like, she makes, of course, it's only people's shadow side. I'm linking into my own shadow side. It's like, oh gosh, I think I'd feel a little bit insecure around her, you know, but it's not coming from her. It's like she's triggering that in other people. But that's a good thing in a way, because really what you should do if you get that response to somebody is you should just rise above it and realise that actually what she's wanting you to do is look her in the eyes as an equal, okay? Because that's what she believes in. She believes in equality. She certainly, you know, the whole male-female thing is an anathema to her. It's just everybody is equal. Why would they not be? You know, it's it doesn't even enter her head. The whole race thing, black, white, whatever colour you are, it's not an issue. In terms of how she looks at other people, she would never judge somebody based on their skin colour, even though probably she has been judged herself for it and will have been, unfortunately, within her time at the White House. Right, that card's jumping up. All tied up. That's an interesting card. All tied up is really what it says it is. Feeling confined, feeling restricted. Let's see what comes up with that. That's an interesting one because that's not come up before. What goes with that? Let's have 4 more cards. Let's just see what we get. All tied up. Tell me when to stop, Mr. Michelle Obama. Stop. The Sun. Journey. The Thinking Woman. Magician and the Mirror. I think it was Prince William that had that. And again, she's got the card of envy. I don't think she's envious. I think a lot of people envy her. I think a lot of people misjudge her. She's the subject to some very vicious, horrible rumours online about her sexuality. You know, is she a man? Is she a woman? It's really offensive. She will have had race hate, you know, laid at her door. She's had her gender mocked. She's had her husband mocked. I'm actually feeling quite choked up for her. I think there's a side to her which feels quite upset actually about it all. I'm really feeling it in my throat. I actually think this is what it's all about, all tied up. I can't do right for wrong. But yet she shows this face to the world, which is just like this sun, you know? Strong woman. I was feeling insecure when I first linked into her energy. Like, who am I to be linking into her energy? Underneath it all, keep hearing she's a pussycat. She's quite upset. She's quite upset about some of the things that have been said about her. Because she's a woman. No, not just because she's a woman. I'm taking that back. All I meant by the fact is that obviously she's a woman, but the female, feminine energy is soft, it's sensitive, it's compassionate. She has that within her heart. And she's faced an awful lot of attack. And I'm really just feeling this sadness within her. It's come from nowhere. Ooh, okay. Tell me about this sadness. I'm going to have to get the Bluebell Bridge spray. Here it is. This is for loss and grief. She's very emotional, much more emotional than you would think she is. I'm picking up that she's emotional about her girls. She's probably got the empty nest syndrome going on. Whatever you are, in terms, however successful you've been as a woman, whatever job you do, you know, she's a mum and she misses her girls, I'm hearing. Or she's sad that her girls are about to leave. There's something about her girls coming through here. Also feels that she's missed out some years with them. She beats herself up about not being a good mum. My voice is going now. And it's unjustified, really, because her girls are fine. It's all to do with the fact that she has these high standards for herself. Very high standards. And it's the same with motherhood. Have I done it right? Are they okay? You know, amplified 100 times. All mums think that. But when you look at her picture, the first word that comes to mind isn't mum. But she is. Above all else, she's a mother. And she's like a lioness, is what I'm seeing now, protecting her cubs. She would, like a lot of mothers, lay down her life for her girls. Fiercely protective of them. She's fiercely protective of Obama as well. She doesn't like what's being said about him. But she doesn't like what's being said about herself either. She's very hurt by it. I'm surprised at the level of sadness I'm feeling. Wasn't expecting that. Let's have a few cards going forward for her. Which deck shall I use? Not sure which deck to use. I just want to check. Going forward, Michelle Obama. You see, it's so interesting how the energies change, because this deck I need to use. At the start, when I was tuning into it, it's all upbeat. You know, upbeat, strong, dynamic. And underneath it, there's this very sensitive woman. She's a bit sad. Why is she sad? Let's just... Card of exchanging gifts. Childhood. I feel it's linked to childhood. Let's have 3 cards for her going forward. No, let's go to Metatron. I don't understand the energy. It's so... I could cry. Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama. What is there to say, Metatron? What is this all about? What are we picking up here? Michelle Obama. Just bringing in the orange ray. I just think it's very, very personal to her. It's not a collective thing here. It's not. I just think for whatever reason she needs some healing at the moment. That orange ray is like she's just soaked it all up. Okay. 3 cards for her. Yeah. Peace. Come to the edge. Milk and honey. Change in the wind is on the bottom of the pack. Change is coming into her life. Definitely. Because we've got the card of change in the wind, and then we've got the card of come to the edge. Come to the edge is always where we're like, oh, really? Do I have to? I don't know if I can. She's doubting herself for some reason. Milk and honey, that came up with Hillary Clinton. The more typical meaning of that card is, it's a bit like the card for Jacinda Arden, abundance and peace. I think she's a bit depressed at the state of the world, actually, to be honest with you. I think she's probably a bit depressed about the state of America. She feels that she's all tied up, she can't help, she can't do much. But yet she's forgetting that she's the magician in the mirror. She's the magician. She can change this around quite easily. She needs people to get behind her because she's still got a journey. She's only halfway through the journey. She's not even halfway. Very similar to Obama. It's like she's packed her bags here. She's on a road. Haven't got a clue where she's going. But she's going somewhere. Let's go back to the other deck. Going forward, Michelle Obama. What's this journey about? What's the journey card about? What's the journey card about for Michelle Obama? Came in upside down, and the pack isn't upside down, the daughter spirit. And woman holding a heart. She's waiting for her time. Didn't I say the same thing about Obama? Something along the lines of there's a moment in time where he just gets like an upgrade or attunement, or was that William? I can't remember now, I've done so many of these. But it's along the lines of there is an energy coming in to help her. It's upside down because it's not quite yet here. She's lost, she's all tied up, she's not on full power at the moment. She's feeling a bit sad. She will recover from it. There is a journey that she's going to be doing. Woman holding a heart is her. I feel the energy of peace is also around her. I think she's a good woman. She wants to help bring in this era of peace and plenty for other people. She wants to do it from the right place, but she hasn't got a clue at the moment how she's going to do it. She's playing with ideas. There are things you might read about her where she's got initiatives going on, and I think it's an Obama Foundation and all sorts of things, but that's not really what it is. That's not the thing that she's meant to really next be doing. There's something else. Okay, I'm going to put her to one side for one moment because I can't go much deeper at the moment with that. There's a lot of confusion around her. Let's put this, put these cards back in the deck and give them a good shuffle, because I want the same cards in the deck for Melania in case they come up. So we'll give them all a good shuffle. Make sure I've got them all back in the deck. That one, that one, that one. If you're wondering which deck I've been using throughout this series, I've tended to use the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra and Taylor. Sandra? That's my English accent. If you live in the north of England, you'd say Sandra. And if you live in the south of England, you'd say Sandra. I've lived in both the south and the north of the UK. So, right, let's have a look at Melania. Again, another beautiful woman. There she is. That's the image I was told to use of her. Melania. Before I pull any cards for her at all, I was hearing Greta Garbo. Metatron said Greta Garbo in my ear, and by that he meant very enigmatic. And there was a thing about Greta Garbo where she just wanted to be left alone, you know, just leave me alone. I did a channeling on Donald Trump a few months ago, and there was something that came through about Melania in the summer months being at the beach property, wherever the hell that is, and she's on her own, and she's just, I remember it so vividly, the vision. It was like she's just arranging these flowers, these white flowers in a vase. She's on her own, she's in that beautiful beach property, and she's so at peace, you know, she's just, and all she's interested in is just arranging these beautiful flowers. And that's very her, you know, it's just like, I want to be left alone. you know, she certainly did not sign up for this. I mean, she did at soul level, of course, because this was a fated thing that was meant to happen in her life, being Donald Trump's wife and President of the United States and all of that. So I don't know what you call it in terms of the, it's not consort, whatever it is. But anyway, so it was part of her soul mission. But at 3D level, at, you know, human level, she's like, what the hell is this? You know, I didn't sign up for this. But she did, really. But she's rebelling against it a lot. And she's not particularly happy with it. She does very well, though, to do, to put on the face, you know. And she won't let people down because she won't let herself down. There's quite a similar thing with her and Michelle, very different women, but there's this thing about, I'm not going to let myself down, I have high standards. And I'm hearing, I got myself into this mess, I will get myself out of this mess. I think that's more about the marriage than anything. I got myself into this mess, I will get myself out of this mess, and I don't need anybody else to help me, thank you very much. There's a very independent energy with her, you know. Again, a strong woman. I think when she married Donald, he took on more than he was bargaining for. He thought he was just getting maybe a pretty woman, and he has got a pretty woman, he's got a stunning woman, but she is of a different, she's of a different league to other women that he has dallied with before or been involved with in terms of relationships. She's another sharp cookie. There's a thing coming out with all these women, they're all sharp cookies. They're all shrewd, okay? And she might be shrewd in a different way. She might not be somebody that wants to sit down and look through loads of documents and things like that, but she's sharp. Again, she's sharp. And she sees through, you know, he can't get away with anything with her. Does he take any notice of her? Not really sure whether he does, but she's seen through all of it. And she doesn't like what she sees. I'm talking here about marriage stuff, okay? Right, let's see. Her as a person in her own right. There's a look of terror on her face here. That image there, there's a look of terror. You know, it's like a forced smile. You know that thing about I'm smiling, but my eyes aren't really smiling? If I keep my smile on, everything's all right. If I keep smiling, everything's okay, is what I'm feeling with her. Give them what they want. Give them the smile. But I'm not feeling sad for her. I'm sympathetic to her. I'm not feeling sad for her because there's a strength there within her. She's like, she's got an energy which is like, it's all right, I don't need your sympathy. I don't need your sympathy. I don't need your support. I'm all right. I can carry on. I can make do. Probably not very good at accepting help. You know, she's probably had to make do her whole life and rely on herself ultimately, and that's what she's doing now. Whilst around her in her personal life, things crumble. She's like, I can rely on myself. I can rely on myself. I'm fine. Thank you very much for the sympathy, but it's fine. I'm okay. That's sort of the energy I get. Right, let's pull some cards for her. 5 cards for Melania. She's very respected on the world stage, actually, as being very graceful, very elegant. She hates to be pitied. It's not who she is. Now I'm going to put those back in. It was the Angel of Strength. Oh, there we go. 5th chakra, throat chakra. Again, cannot say what I want to say. What I want to say is unspeakable. What I want to say is unprintable. I would like to scream my head off, is what I'm hearing. But I can't do any of it. My throat chakra is blocked. That's Archangel Gabriel with that card, but the 5th chakra obviously is linked into the throat, and I'm feeling more Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, help me. Don't know whether she believes in the angels, but she's the one that sort of brought the angels in here. Archangel Michael, help me. yin yang, male female, power battle going on between them. Plus a power battle going on within her. She's finding her male energy, and it's becoming intolerable because she wants to speak up but can't. She's used her femininity and her charms, because she's obviously pretty, and she's, you know, there's all those, I don't know, whatever she was. She did films or photos, didn't she, before she married him? I don't know. You know, a sexual woman, a beautiful woman, all of that. So she's used her charms in a lot of ways through life. But it's like now, it's like, no, you know, my male energy is coming up to the fore. And I'm furious, you know, and I want to stand up for myself. And it's personal. 3 more cards, Melania. The Angel of Balance. She's got 2 cards which both say the same thing. The yin-yang sign is the symbol of balance, trying to find the balance between male and female. Now we've got the Angel of Balance. She's trying to find equilibrium and peace in her life, and there isn't any. And she's finding it very, very hard to keep the balance, to keep the poise. The door to personal healing and happiness. She just wants to escape. Community. She's got more of a sense of community about her. She's learnt a lot, I'm hearing, over the last couple of years in particular, and she's learnt a lot since being in the White House. She's starting to see how everything is interconnected. On the bottom of the pack is the goddess of the moon. Diana was the goddess of the moon. And so Goddess of the Moon, that's an interesting card for her, isn't it? Goddess of the Moon, Melania. The moon, at the end of the day, is a symbol of femininity. The sun is the masculine energy, the moon is the feminine energy. So there's this strong female warrior spirit within her. She won't play by the old rules. You've seen that in public with the 2 of them. You know, she bats his hand away all the time when he tries to reach for it. She doesn't hide it. You know, I think he's furious. So she's not going to play the game. I mean, she'll put the face on and all the rest of it, but, you know, she's showing her feminine strength. Don't mess with me. But she's out of balance. Why is she out of balance? Might sound a stupid question, but why is she out of balance? Why have we got these 2 balance cards for her? Her emotions certainly aren't balanced. I think she can blow hot and cold. All tied up. She's got the same card as Michelle Obama. All tied up. Throat chakra blocked. Can't say what I want to say. It's a sad card. Look at that card. Can you see it? Let me just put it into focus. So she's all tied up for a different reason to Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama's more tied up because she doesn't know quite what the next step is, where she's going, hasn't quite found the next stage, but it will happen. With Melania, it's just like something is literally tying her up in knots, and she's feeling captive, which is why she gets such peace when she goes to the Miami, is it Miami? Excuse me, I don't know. You know, the beachside property where she jets off. She jetted off alone, didn't she, recently when Trump went to, was it the Paris meeting without her, where she was expected and she wouldn't play by the rules, she wouldn't go. I think it was just after the Stormy Daniels stuff came out, and she must have refused to not go, and she went down to the beachside property and he went alone to this conference, and it probably did her a lot of good. She needs that property. Let's pull a few more from another deck from her for her. Actually, let's go to Archangel Michael, because she called him in, didn't she? Archangel Michael, help me. Archangel Michael, Melania. She's got so many cords that need cutting. Cords of attachment. She's had this thing her whole life about with men. You know, there's been I'm trying to say it in the right way. There's something that needs healing in her ancestral line with regard to men. But it's almost like she's healing it herself by coming back into her own power and harnessing her own male energy. It's almost like that's why she's gone to Michael, because Michael's like this warrior male energy, you know, with a sword. Michael, help me. And he's like, yeah, I will, but you help yourself as well. I'll give you the sword, you cut the ties. You can do it, you know. That's the sort of energy. Let's have 3 more. Melania going forward. Greta Garbo, Enigma. She is an enigma. Building blocks. Building something new. Not for you. It's a chess game. Come back to that. I talked about chess earlier, didn't I? Imagine. She's got the card of peace. She's a good woman. Oh, and on the bottom of the pack, orphaned. That says a lot. Orphaned. Okay? That's an energy within her. Sad, lonely. I'm on my own. Orphaned. How sad is that? Okay. But going forward in the future, I was saying about the chess game. I said that with the New Zealand Prime Minister, didn't I? That she was good at playing chess. She was good at the whole political game, and enjoyed playing the game. Melania doesn't. It says not for you. Not for you. Hates it. Hates all the politics. Having said that, she still does it with grace, because she has to. Some of it has rubbed off on her. I do think that she, again, has these cards of the community and Imagine, the card of peace. She's learnt a lot over the last couple of years. She does want to do good in the world, but it's just she doesn't want to do it in that old way of the whole political game. You know, the greasy, climbing the greasy pole, climbing the ladder. She wants to build something new, and she wants to build something new with a woman on top of it. Okay, this is her feminine power. So she'll be okay, but again, her energy is a bit scattered here as well. But anyway, we send love to all of these females that we've looked at, all of these women. Sending healing to all of them, and including Hillary in that as well, who I did in the last video. I'm going to leave it there for today, because I can see my battery is flashing and the camera's about to fade out. And it's probably a long enough video anyway. Hope you've enjoyed these series. I will probably come back to it again at another time. Next week I'm going to be moving on to something else, because I want to bring in some new energy. But this week and this week's work, all of these 4 videos has all been about just trying to look at a deeper level at some of the leaders on our stage, recognising that they are all reflections of us. If you're being triggered by anything, go within, heal that. And as I said on my Facebook page yesterday, the whole thing about I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, is a really wonderful chant to say, and an affirmation to say, and a prayer to say, to help heal anything that comes up for all of these people. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And I thank you for watching. I will do some more world leaders soon. But anyway, that's enough for now. I'll do a few more probably in a few weeks. Much love. Thank you for watching. My Facebook page is Angelic Celestial Colours. My website is amandaellis.co.uk, and the cards that I've used is the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. There's my northern side coming out now. And the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reid. I've dipped into that a little bit as well. Namaste. Bye-bye.